The building is worth like $1.6 million, and we still have $4,000 of rental space to rent out. Now, the cool thing is we bought it for 1.5 on terms and put a really low down payment, like 150 grand, 160 grand, something like that, 153,000. And it's now worth 1.6 million. The building will be worth 2.2 something million dollars, almost 2.3 million dollars. So once we get that lease signed and we get a tenant in place there, and maybe even the tenants that are currently there are interested in leasing it, either way, the equity is going to go sky high. So anyone that's investing in this building with us is going to get a fantastic return. And in fact, we are going to have the least amount of investors possible because this deal is turning out to be so dang good. Welcome to the Commercial Real Estate Starting from Scratch podcast with me, John Kleisch. In this podcast, I am documenting my journey all the way from $0 in commercial real estate all the way up until however far we are going to take this thing. So the first couple episodes, I had $0 of commercial real estate, and about a month ago, I closed on my first property that the way it sits is about $1.6 million. And I am less than 2 weeks away from closing on my second commercial deal, which is an office building. If this is your first episode, go back and listen to the first few because I break down exactly everything that is going on. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. You can do what you want. It's the beautiful thing about life. So, episode 8. Last time I said episode was 8 because I am an idiot and I don't know how to pay attention to things. So, that was 7. This is 8. 8 is starting to fly by. Pretty cool. I am starting to enjoy this quite a bit, and I hopefully that I'm getting better at it, so it's a little bit more tolerable to listen to. So, end of an era. I labeled this one end of an era because I have officially left Collective Genius Mastermind. I was a member for 4 years, and it was definitely by far the best thing that ever happened to me in real estate as a whole. It's hard to think of a friend in real estate that I did not meet in Collective Genius. I have done deals with a ton of people in there. I have learned strategies from there. I have even had relationships that have funded. My gosh, I think 90% of my funding has been done through people that I met in or through Collective Genius. So needless to say, that group has had a massive impact on my life and in my real estate journey as a whole. So if anyone from Collective Genius staff is listening, thank you so much. You guys put out such a fantastic product. I would be absolutely nothing without you guys. So thank you very much. And after hearing that, it might be weird saying, why did you leave? Why did you leave? Well, a few reasons. So my former business partner and I and good friend split up our wholesaling and land flipping business. So that's a lot of what they focus on. And a lot of my friends from the group have either moved on or been promoted to the premier group. And I felt like it was just time to kind of cut ties. I was walking around and there's a lot of folks that I don't know, which is definitely my fault. The reason I'm in that group mostly was for networking, but I found a really good core group of people and I really hung out with them over the last couple years and really didn't branch out that much. Felt it was kind of, I got the juice out of the squeeze that I needed to, if that makes sense. I don't even know. And it felt like it was perfect timing to just exit right now. My commercial business cost me $0 a month to operate outside of the operating budgets. But I don't have any employees. I don't have any marketing. I don't have anything overhead at all. So I am really enjoying that. I'm able to put up numbers that are insane. That would have taken me years, if not at least a full year to do by myself in commercial. So that's pretty much it right there. Do I think I would join again? I would say that I would look into it once my numbers are high enough to join the premier group. I know a lot of my friends have been bumped up there, and at that group instead of the mid-level one, I feel like that would be much more benefit to me with a lot more senior members and probably some more commercial guys in there that are doing some bigger things. That would be a bigger benefit to me. So we will cross that bridge when we get there. I will miss that group like crazy. I just had my last meeting. I got back like 3 days ago. So it's still fresh. It still feels very, very, very weird to not say that I'm a collective genius member, but all good things must come to an end. So, updates on commercial. Oh man, these podcasts have been a little bit hard to do the last couple episodes because all I was doing was getting bad news after bad news after bad news. It was really stressful and things were not going the way that I would have liked them to or anyone would have liked them to. And I knew everything wasn't detrimental, but it just felt like every single thing that could happen was going wrong. And I know that's actually not true because there are many, many, many worse things that could actually happen. So now living through all of that pain, I am starting to come up on the other side, mostly for a reason that we have our tenant one, which is our number one revenue producing tenant at Grand Avenue, is paying rent now. Thank goodness. We went back and forth quite a bit. My partner, John Heisler, got involved, and we had a conference call with the tenant and his confidant, if you will, consultant, who the guy that helped him out getting the place. And we talked about getting on a payment plan, and we worked it out to where it was most definitely worth it to get him to stay. And he's basically paying rent like every couple of weeks in higher amounts, and it's escalating and everything like that. Long story short, in his business, it's he doesn't have very regular paydays. He has a few customers that pay him lots of money sporadically, and he's just waiting on that money. He spent a lot of money on moving costs, and it just sounds like he's not very good at managing his money because he's a mechanic and not a financial guy. So hopefully everything else works out as it should. I have faith. The guy's a great guy. I got a check today. And tenant 2 at Grand Avenue is working out really well. We had an issue with his rent payment where we sent him an invoice. He paid it. I got a screenshot of confirmation. He sent me the draw from his bank. The payment never showed up. It never marked pending. And he pretty much wouldn't respond to me. So I was like, oh my gosh, this guy scammed us. He's not paying rent. He's going to have to get evicted too. However, he finally got back to me. He was out of town and called his bank, and they mailed a check to the facility, to the building. So got to figure that part out on my bank account. No factor there. I kind of walked through it a little bit and figured out maybe what happened. Still don't know. Either way, it's a moot point. Hopefully we can figure that part out so I don't have to drive down there and get checks, because that would be nice, because it's a 30-minute drive and usually in traffic. So that's great for Grand. Things are turning around. Things are looking good. I was there today, and both tenants have all of their employees there working. There was like 4 or 5 people between both spots that were sanding things, buffing things, and man, they were getting to work. So I like to see that everyone has kind of moved in. They're all busy getting situated and fixing cars, because if they're fixing cars, they're going to make money. If they make money, then I can get rent, which is the whole point. Cool thing about that building now is that currently the way it sits right now, they are paying a little bit less in the very beginning. In the next 3 months, it's going to get bumped up. And then there's another big bump up in year 2. So, but right now, the way it sits, the building is worth like $1.6 million. And we still have $4,000 of rental space to rent out. Now, the cool thing is we bought it for 1.5 on terms and put a really low down payment, like 150 grand, 160 grand, something like that, 153,000. And it's now worth 1.6 million. So 1.5 to 1.6, that's pretty cool. Once we get that back part leased out, which is a huge lot, the building will be worth $2.2 something million, so almost $2.3 million, which is hard to believe, right? So once we get that lease signed and we get a tenant in place there, and maybe even the tenants that are currently there are interested in leasing it, either way, the equity is going to go sky high. So anyone that's investing in this building with us is going to get a fantastic return. And in fact, we are going to have the least amount of investors possible, because this deal is turning out to be so dang good. let me do the quick math right now. So for 100 grand, partners are going to get 8.25% of the building. So when it gets to $2.2 million, their $100,000 share is going to be worth $181,500. That's a crazy good deal to me. I mean, you're making 80%. Now, granted, it's equity, right? And you're not actually getting access to that money. So it's a little bit here and there, but I mean, that's real money. Right now, the way it sits at $1.6 million, every $100,000 they invest, they get 8.25%, and their share is worth $132,000. That's a 32% return right off the bat, day one. Not bad, not bad. So you can see why we are trying to get not a lot of investors in here, maybe one, maybe two. We thought about even keeping it just us, but that might get a little bit tough because we do have a lot of things that we need to do, about 200 grand worth of work that we can space out, but having a little bit of cash right now would make that a lot easier, because coming out of pocket for some more cash right now after dropping about 80 something grand makes my butt a little tight, to be honest. So not definitely going to have someone come in there and become an investor on that deal there. So that's pretty much it for Grand. Now, Thunderbird, the office building, we lost our lender right the same day after passing due diligence. So that was a bummer. I called around and really couldn't find people that were interested in lending on vacant office. Vacant office right now is like a pariah, and people aren't even looking at it just because it is vacant office. However, thank goodness I ran into I actually talked to the owner of the company just through normal channels, and I was trying to sell everyone on how great the deal was, and he looked at it right away and said, "Oh my gosh, dude, John, this deal is actually really, really good. Office is really, really tough right now. Normally, I wouldn't be lending on it. However, I looked at this deal and I love it. This is great. I can totally, get lending on this thing." He's a broker, shopped it around, got somebody right away, and came back with this little cool thing. He said he's never done this before, and I don't know if that's true, but either way, I've never heard of this. So what's really cool is all the other terms that we were getting was people want us to, they'll lend like 60 to 65% of the deal, a few points, 13%. So I mean, coming to the table with a 40% down payment's a lot. That's a lot of money. It's like $250,000, something like that on this deal. Oh, it's possible, but makes the deal a lot less sweet. He was able to send it out to an investor, and they could fund. They think it's worth. What do they think it's worth? About $1.1 million the way that it sits. And they said they would lend up to 50%. So they would lend us like 590 grand, and we're purchasing it for 641. That's crazy. That's a really, really low down payment. It's like a 10% down payment. And if that's possible, that would be great. So I'm not holding my breath on that because they needed to get an appraisal done on it. So they were able to send somebody out actually Wednesday and do an appraisal on it. So now we're just waiting to get that feedback done. It cost $3,100. I feel like that's a business that I want to get into because I feel like every appraiser that I've ran into had no idea what they were doing. And in residential, they're not making much money, but in commercial, $3,100 to do this. It's like, man, sounds like a great gig. So they're getting that done as we speak. It is not August. I'm an idiot. What's the date? October 24th. And we close on November 4th. And hopefully we get these results back from this appraisal. So they'll lend at 50% of the appraised value. So the more the merrier. The highest that they will go is up to 90%, which is that 590 grand. So waiting on pins and needles for that. The good thing is I ran into my very, very, very good friend at Collective Genius, and he came up to me and said, "Dude, if you need funding on that office building, I want to lend on it." So that's really cool too. Funding is taken care of for that, regardless of pretty much what happens. However, it would be very, very nice to get that really low down payment. Man, that's pretty much it for the good news. I know that it's been a while. We've been eating dirt or something like that. I don't know, eating poop. I don't know. Eating it, whatever you want to call it, for the last month or so here. Getting some good news is very great. It's gotten me excited again. It's gotten me to breathe some fresh air, and I can be calm. And that's always nice because when you're stressed out, it's hard to make decisions. Trying to get after it a little bit more here, get some more deals. The broker that brought us our first property sent us an off-market deal that he's got the listing on, which is a contractor yard, which is literally just a piece of dirt with a cinder block wall and 2 gates. I like that. Very, very easy to manage. And guess what? He wants to take seller financing too. So John and I have been looking at this for a while. We came up with a really creative offer today, and hopefully he takes it. We were able to offer full price on this thing, which I think is a little bit overpriced, but I don't really know. To be honest, it's a hard one to comp. Not many properties in that exact area are moving ever in the last years and years and years. So difficult to say exactly what it's worth, but I like it, needless to say. So having room to think and not be stressed out so I can look at deals like that is great, because that thing's been sitting in my desk for a while. But with all the other things going on, I did not want to take on any other projects right now. So now that I'm starting to get freed up and everything is looking really good on both deals, I'm excited about the future and excited to get some more deals here. Overall, I know that I did put an offer on 3 gas stations. I feel like that could be a good podcast in and of itself. That might be the next one. There's those gas stations, but that wraps it up. It's a Good News Podcast. End of an era. Collective Genius. You were amazing. Thank you so much. And tune in to the next episode, guys. Follow me on Instagram, like the podcast, share the podcast. If you feel like there is somebody that would get benefit from listening to something like this, please share it with them. Leave me a review. Follow me on Instagram, john.kleisch, Kleisch. I guess I should maybe put something in here. But either way, guys, thank you so much for listening, and take her easy.